Then colorful drinks started flowing in. Although he had never been to such places before, having lived through the apocalypse, no scene could intimidate him. He received all the special treatments of VIPs. Soon, a few club dancers came for his service. 3 of them were clearly wearing one-piece dresses. They were there for dancing for him and refilling his empty glasses. Suddenly, his glance fell on a black-haired girl, scantily clad, with quite the curvy figure. He noticed that she looked upset. The woman pouring drinks whispered, "She actually came here for the first time. Her boyfriend cheated on her." Then the black-haired girl told him, "My boyfriend was a jerk. Just because I wouldn't sleep with him, he cheated with an older woman. It's really disgusting." Then she asked him, "Do you guys really care that much about sleeping with women?" He smiled and said, "It's human nature, a reproductive desire etched in our bones and genes." After hearing that, she suddenly drank 1 glass of wine in 1 gulp and then looked at him. She asked him, "Are you single?" But he didn't reply. At that moment, her eyes lit up because of booze. Again, she asked him a question. "Have you ever ridden your horse?" Under the influence of booze, she grabbed his arm. And this scene was just witnessed by his gold-digger girlfriend and her friend, who stared at him from the entrance. His gold-digger girlfriend wanted to know, "What is he doing with that girl?" Her friend asked her, "Is he cheating on you?" Seeing them, he grabbed the black-haired girl by her back and said, "If you actually want to ride a horse, I can help you." Then he grabbed her by the hand and ran upstairs, entered a room, locked the door, and quickly shook her to sobriety in Sasuke Uchiha style. Then casually advised her, "Don't go out these next few days. Stock up on food at home." After opening the door, he gave her one more piece of advice. Lovestruck doesn't suit places like this, and in the future, don't fall in love. Focus on your future. Oh, sorry. Next time there's no future. Forget about that. Just store as much food as you can. She didn't understand why he was saying to store food, but she confusingly replied, "Okay, I will store the food." After leaving the room, he felt upset because every boy wants this one chance, but he had no choice because he didn't want to take advantage of a boozy girl. Then he saw that his girlfriend and her friend were forcefully opening other rooms and searching for him. Looking at them, he said, "You've ruined my party." And then he left the club. The next morning, some of the items he had ordered began to arrive. The 20 large fireplaces he had ordered arrived, and the 10 large ice machines were delivered to his specified location. He instructed the delivery team to transport the large fireplaces and ice machines to the warehouse, cautioning them not to block the entrance gate. "Put the ice here. Just handle the moving," he said. At this time, his gold-digger girlfriend and her friends gathered around the warehouse, watching the unloading of his purchases. Her best friend said, "He has bought a lot of large machines. I don't know what they are, but they are being transported to the warehouse now." Then her friend added, "Do you see that? Isn't that the banquet at the Green City Hotel? Do you think he might suddenly propose to you today on that red carpet, and then guests will come from all directions?" The gold-digger girlfriend was excited. At that moment, she puffed up her chest and said, "Even if he proposes, I might not accept. It depends on his sincerity." The gold digger and her friend walked over to the protagonist's direction. Then she said with a surprised expression, "What are you doing with so many things?" Seeing her, his eyes flickered, and then he spoke. "Oh, those items? I'll tell you after we're done. Can you help me move those things?" The gold digger hesitated for a moment and said, "Move stuff? What a joke." Thinking to herself, "I'm going to be a rich wife. How could I do such rough work?" Her friend whispered, "This might be a test for you. He wants to see if you really qualify to be a rich wife." The gold digger's eyes lit up, and she then looked at him and said, "Fine, I'm not one of those pretentious women." Then she made a promise to herself. To become a rich wife, one must excel both in character and learning. As long as I pass the test, he will surely marry me today. Not just the gold digger showing off her merits in front of the protagonist, her friend also wanted to pretend that she had a soft heart. When she stepped forward to help, there was no hesitation. After all, she had heard quite a bit about how the children of wealthy families were often lecherous, and her own looks were not bad. Even if she couldn't become a rich wife, getting a taste of the good life was still possible. He watched the two busy themselves, and a cold smile appeared on his face. Free labor is not to be wasted. 1,000 tables of food, 2,000 tons of ice. Even with the Green City Hotel and Wu Ronghua bringing people over, it would take a long time to move everything. She was imagining him announcing her as a bride, surrounded by a large crowd congratulating them, followed by the wedding banquet. However, he only came forward to check the warehouse, and then ignored everyone. There were 2,000 tons of ice, which naturally couldn't be finished quickly, but the food from the hotel was moved within a few hours. He took out a red envelope with 10,000 and handed it to the workers. Then they happily congratulated him, and they headed back. The Green City Hotel's vehicle gradually departed. The gold digger and her friend hurried over to him and wanted to know, "What were you about to say just now?" He looked at the two of them and sneered. "The thing is, I appreciate your help with the work, but there's no pay for you two." The gold digger still managed a strained smile at him. "You, stop joking. There must be a surprise around here. Come on, say I was just testing you earlier. Then I'm not mad at you anymore. Let the people around come out. Let's get married and settle down." "Get married and settle down? Actually, I would also like to marry and settle down with you. But I really have no money. I sold my family's house, and now I owe a lot on loans. Would you still want to be with me?" The protagonist asked her with a sarcastic smile. Gold Digger's friend was shocked and said, "Don't joke. You have no money? With that multi-million-dollar banquet and the tens of thousands spent at restaurants, how can you be broke? Even selling a house wouldn't make up for millions." He feigned surprise and said, "Oh, you're talking about this? I ordered that for someone else. These dishes will be taken away later by someone. My big boss is doing good deeds. I heard it's for charity. I don't know about the rest. They'll be pulling the stuff out soon." Gold Digger glared and lunged at him, saying, "How dare you? You are just a delivery boy. You're not from a rich family. You lied to me." He formally stepped back and dodged Gold Digger's sudden attack, saying, "I don't remember saying even once that I am rich or that I came from a rich family. Do you remember something like that?" Gold Digger fell to the ground, shouting in full anger, "You damn delivery boy. You're not rich. You'll never marry me." Then he sneered and said, "Who cares about marrying a gold digger like you?" When he called her a gold digger, she roared in anger and threatened him, "Just wait. You dare to play with fire. I'll make you regret it." And then she left from there. He scoffed and watched her leave, saying, "Idiot. You'll see what's coming at the end." Then he went inside the warehouse, closed the door, and stored everything in the warehouse into his dimensional space storage. After that, he could go to the Green City Hotel and wait for the apocalypse. At that moment in the Green City Hotel, the loan manager was still chuckling at Gold Digger and said, "You'll live the good life with my little brother, and I have some influence in this city." Hearing that, Gold Digger nodded shyly. Her best friend laughed heartily, feeling very proud to have such a girlfriend in his arms. Life was joyful indeed, but this joy didn't last long before he saw the protagonist eating alone. His eyes widened, and anger surged immediately as he said, "Big brother, that's the kid who attacked me before." The loan manager walked up to him and exclaimed in surprise, "Damn, it's you." "Big brother, you know him?" he asked in surprise. The loan manager pointed at him. "He mortgaged his house with me and borrowed 600,000 from me. According to my calculation, it's about time he paid it back." Gold Digger's best friend laughed menacingly and said, "So he borrowed money from my brother, huh? Now, we can settle new grudges along with the old." Gold Digger suddenly felt relieved that she had distanced herself from him earlier. She never expected him to be this kind of person, thinking his mention of a loan was about a bank loan, not realizing it was a high-interest loan from her best friend's brother. I can't believe he dared to take a high-interest loan. He really has a death wish. Despite the loan manager and his group's threatening demeanor, he remained composed, not even bothering to stand up, and simply asking him, "Is there a problem with that?" The loan manager said, "What? You have to pay back the money tomorrow. Don't tell me you can come up with 600,000 tonight." Gold Digger's best friend pointed at him and yelled, "He can't produce a damn thing. He's just a delivery boy. Big brother, don't waste your words on him. Last time, this guy dared to attack me. Kill him immediately." Saying this, he signaled to a few of his men, and they immediately surrounded the protagonist at the hotel. Seeing that the situation was about to escalate, the hotel manager hurried over and asked, "Gentlemen, what is this? Come on, don't create a scene in my hotel." Then the loan manager said, "All right, let this kid kneel down and apologize to me and my brother. Then I can let this matter go." The hotel manager was clearly in a difficult position and asked him, "What's going on here?" He shook his head and said, "It's nothing, just a few losers." Hearing this, the loan manager slammed the table and roared, "Kid, am I giving you too much time? You're done today. Not even the King of Heaven can save you now." At that moment, a man with slicked back hair approached. "What's going on here? Causing a scene in this hotel? Do you want a death wish or something?" At the sound of the voice, everyone quickly turned to look at the man. The loan manager looked surprised and asked, "Brother, what are you doing here?" The protagonist also looked at the man with the slicked back hair, but when he saw his face, he was suddenly taken aback. He hadn't expected to encounter him here. In his past life, under the apocalypse, he was a major force in the capital. Hell's chef was one of his underlings. Suddenly, he remembered something. He had heard that before the onset of the apocalypse, some areas had already begun experiencing ancestral mutations. The Green City Hotel was one of those places, and that was one of the reasons he chose the Green City Hotel as a base. That benefited from the unique location of the Green City Hotel. In that case, I'm sorry, but this opportunity is mine now. The slick-haired man took another look at him, then turned and walked away. "This kid is interesting." He chuckled softly. Then he led the head chef into a room and said, "Boss, I've brought the head chef here." The head chef asked nervously, "May I know what you need from me?" Then the boss said, "Aha, I've long heard that Miss Chef is a great beauty. Today, I finally meet you in person. Come, let's drink this cup." Now he came back to his room and checked the time. Reflecting some light, he remembered, "In my last life, I and Gold Digger hid in the basement, and that's how we survived the scorching apocalypse. Unexpectedly, after ditching her this time, she ended up here. It's time to settle new scores along with old ones." Time slowly passed. However, the moon in the sky was exceptionally bright, illuminating the entire earth as if sprinkled with a layer of silver white. Many people came out of their houses to look at the moon in the sky. This moon is so bright, it feels like the sun. Exactly. It's too bright. Do you guys feel a bit hot? Why does it seem hotter at night than during the day? At that time, Gold Digger also brought her friend out to see this evening's spectacle. Do you see that? My love for you is as bright as the moon in the sky. This is the witness to our love. Her best friend excitedly pointed at the moon in the sky. With contempt in his heart, he looked at the moon in the sky and murmured, "Your love is about to explode."
As his words fell, the moon in the sky suddenly became extremely bright, even dazzling. In that instant, the temperature in the air rose rapidly, so much so that people standing outside began to scream and run back into the hotel. The moon hung in the sky like a second sun, becoming extremely hot. At this moment, night instantly turned to day. The scorching apocalypse, eternal daylight. The apocalypse has arrived. Meanwhile, the hotel lobby was in complete chaos. Due to the perpetual daylight, many people had gathered in the hotel's lobby because of this spectacle. At that moment, several people rushed into the hotel lobby at full speed, searching everywhere for water. Gold Digger saw the lobby's fish tank and quickly plunged into it with a few others, soaking themselves completely before they barely managed to recover. They realized someone was missing. Loan manager was already covered in blisters. Seeing this, everyone panicked. He said with guilt, "Big brother, are you okay? Get the burn ointment. Hurry, bring the burn ointment. Big brother, I was wrong. I'll never leave you behind again." On the other side, head chef hesitated to drink the wine. She knew there must be something wrong with this wine. "I absolutely cannot drink it. But what should I do?" Suddenly, a terrifying heat wave shot from the moon behind head chef, and they quickly pulled the curtain shut. They decided to go downstairs to see what's going on. Head chef narrowly escaped disaster and finally breathed a sigh of relief. Back in the hotel, many people had already gathered in the lobby. Hotel manager tried to calm everyone. Everyone, please calm down. We've contacted the rescue team. Please wait here for rescue. Someone in the crowd shouted, I make millions every minute. I can't afford to waste time here. Slicked back hair looked at Boss. Boss frowned and said, we can't spare any personnel. This might get a bit tricky. Big brother, what do we do now? He asked to his brother. Lone manager looked at the scene outside, unsure of what to do for a moment. Go outside? Impossible. People would probably die from exposure within minutes. Let's stay here for now. I'll call someone else to have them drive and pick us up. Hey, little bro, we're at Green City Hotel. Drive over here to pick us up. The weather outside is hellish. Okay, see you soon. The call ended and Lone Manager's brother also started driving the van out. Since the car was in an underground parking garage, it didn't feel the lethal temperatures outside. However, the moment little bro drove the car out, he instantly regretted it. After traveling just 100 or 200 meters, all 4 tires burst. The car just broke down under the scorching sun. Big brother, the car's broken down. The tires burst. I can't make it now. Big brother, I'm going back. You guys figure something out on your own. But he hadn't run far before his leather shoes began to melt. Sounds like sizzling meat came through the phone. And then there was silence. Meanwhile, in his room, the air conditioner was set to 25 degrees, and he, seemingly unconcerned about what was happening outside, slept comfortably. The commercial capital organized a large number of people to maintain the operation of the power usage. But in the face of such a natural disaster, human efforts were clearly too insignificant. An explosion was heard. The entire earth seemed to tremble. Everyone connected to the city's power company lost electricity. On the other side, the power outage caused many people to panic. In the room next to Protagonist, where Lone Manager and his subordinates were staying, the lack of power was proving too much for his corpulent body to bear. Damn it! What the hell is going on with this place? Why is there no power? Gold Digger reacted immediately. I remember Delivery Boy's presidential suite has a swimming pool. We could try to take it over. Just a few minutes after the power outage, he felt a wave of heat envelop him. He got up, placed 2 standing air conditioners from his storage space in the room, then connected them to a large battery to start powering the air conditioners. At that moment, whiskey appeared in his hand. In this situation, having a glass of chilled whiskey is simply a dream. Then, for the first day of the apocalypse, it's just have a simple breakfast. Suddenly, there was a loud banging on the door. He couldn't help but frown. Nothing else needs to be said. Just by listening to that sound, he could tell the intentions were not good. When he opened the door, Lone Manager instantly felt a cool breeze coming from the room. Lone Manager felt he had arrived in heaven. He couldn't stand the chance to stand against heat, but now the cool air felt like sweet rain to him. And the next moment, his eyes widened with surprise. 2 large ice blocks air conditioners. He still has power in his room. He shouted, "Throw him outside." In this situation, being thrown outside would almost certainly be fatal. He sneered, "Kid, you owe me 600,000 from before. It's time to pay back now. Vacate the room for me, and I'll consider it interest for these few days." As he said this, he started walking inside. Suddenly, a pistol appeared in his hand. His finger moved, and a bullet instantly entered Lone Manager's stomach. A burning sensation spread from his stomach, and he incredulously looked at his belly. Blood was slowly oozing out, and a tearing pain emanated from his stomach. "Hey, you idiot, do you think I am weak?" He still had his gun pointed at Lone Manager. He hadn't wanted to kill them, not because he didn't want these people died so easily, because he wanted them to taste apocalypse flavor. The apocalypse had just begun, the power had just gone out, and the real drama was just starting. Behind him, Gold Digger, his brother, and a few other followers were all shocked. "A gun! A real gun! Not a fake! Where did he get this from?" He took a step back, his eyes filled with red blood vessels. Fine. You win. I am giving up." Lone Manager turned to leave, but at that moment his hand pulled the trigger without hesitation. Another gunshot rang out, and the bullet pierced through Lone Manager's thigh. He screamed in pain, his body trembling nonstop. If the pain in his stomach wasn't enough before, this time it was very evident. Watching loan manager half kneel on the ground in agony, he said emotionlessly, "If you're going to leave, just leave. I don't want to hear your crap." At that point, loan manager completely shut his mouth, not daring to utter another word. He afraid that one more word would earn him another bullet. He's staring at the group and said, "Now, I will count to 3. Disappear from my sight. Otherwise, you know very well." Meanwhile, boss eyes flickered, and he stood up, calling over hotel manager. "Go, prepare 10 days worth of food and bring it to my room." She's stunned. "Food? We don't have that much left." "What? How can your hotel not have food?" She nervously said. The shipment was scheduled to arrive today, and someone had booked 1,000 tables for a banquet recently, so most of the food supplies are gone. Send all the food you have left to me. Boss shouting made the others around unhappy. What do you mean by that? Why should all the food be sent to you? What will we eat? Exactly. Just because you have money doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. If you're so rich, why don't you leave? Food should be shared by everyone. Why should it all go to you? At that moment, loan manager and his followers shakily walked downstairs. Slicked back hair immediately noticed that he had gunshot wounds on his body and leg. Slicked back hair frowned at him. What happened to you? He didn't hide anything. Gritting his teeth, he said, There is a guy on upstairs room. God knows where he found the gun. He shot me without a second thought. Then, Gold Digger quickly spoke up. Guys, he has air conditioner and large ice cubes in his room. I saw him drinking chilled wine. Gold Digger's words instantly made everyone around desperate, and she murmured in his devilish mind, If I can't enjoy the cool air, then I don't let you enjoy that luxury also. Are you serious? That guy has electricity in his room and large ice blocks. She remembered Protagonist bought ice blocks and food recently and said instantly, He definitely has ice blocks. Many large ice blocks. He also bought so many food recently and stored them in an old warehouse on the street. You filthy delivery boy. No, I want to see how you can escape from that much people. At that moment, someone shouted, That kid still have large ice blocks and he is using air conditioner while we are suffering here in this heat? Then other person said, Exactly, let's go up and make him give up the ice blocks and the air conditioner. Let's get him. My body is burning in this scorching heat, and that kid is enjoying in this, while we are suffering. We can't let that kid enjoy. Let's go. Tell him who's the boss is. Meanwhile, he was asleep, only to be awakened by a noise of knocks on the door. When he opened the door, a cool breeze instantly wafted out from the room, the cool air hitting everyone's face. It felt them like every pore was opening up. The middle-aged woman's eyes widened with surprise, she staring excitedly at him. At that moment, the chubby boy stared at the fried chicken he placed on the table. The chubby boy tried to steal the food. Mommy, fried chicken? I want fried chicken. Without hesitation, he kicked the chubby boy away. Control your child, otherwise I won't mind being cruel. The middle-aged woman pointed at him and shouted, Hey kid, don't you have any manners? That's how you treating children? Feeling the slight coldness from the room, everyone's eyes widened even more. The doorway was packed with people, just when things were about to get out of control. Then the sound of a gunshot rang out.